All right, guys. So Zach here with Beyond the Clear Forestry, and this is going to be my Deere 335P review video, footage, operation, everything. Just kind of a collab on what I think of the Deere 335P. So here's the machine right here, sitting in my yard. It's been here for 2 days and I have not been able to touch it. It's a pretty machine. First impressions are ergonomics and comfort, because that's about all I've had the chance to take note of, but I love it so far. But unfortunately, that's not the only thing that goes into whether or not we would want to buy, or I would want to buy, this machine. So today I have a mulching job, and I've actually been working on that mulching job already this morning with my SVL 97 and my Vail disc mulcher. I am home for lunch because the job is only like 8 minutes from my house. So what we're going to do, because they're not going to let me demo this machine indefinitely, and my mulching schedule is pretty busy, I really wanted to demo it on my property, but that's going to be probably not possible. So I've got the truck, I've got the trailer, I brought it back home from the job. I am going to attach my drum mulcher to the Deere, and we're going to load this thing up, take it back to the job. I will have 2 machines on that job today. I do not have the time today. In fact, I'm wasting time right now shooting this, but I want to do a demo video on and live footage of the Deere 335P in action for forestry. So I'm taking the time to do this, even if it makes my job run a little longer, which I will not charge the customer for. But anyway, we're going to hook the 335 up to the drum mulcher, the Vail drum mulcher, take it back to the job. But what I was getting at is I do not have the time today to retune my drum to this machine. And this machine has more hydraulic flow and more pressure than my SVL 97. So the tuning is going to need to be a little bit different to really get the utmost efficiency out of the drum on this machine, and really be able to feel the difference between it and my SVL 97. So I need to retune it, the shift point, possibly the RPMs and everything, to accommodate this machine at 45 gallons per minute, 4,400 PSI. And my SVL 97 only goes up to 40 gallons per minute. And honestly, at the top of my head, I'm not even sure what the pressure is on the SVL 97, so I'm not going to bullshit you guys about it. So when I get back to the job, because I don't have the time to retune this today, I'm going to hook the disc up to the 335, and I've been mulching with it all morning. You guys will see, and just do a direct comparison today for just cab comfort, visibility, ergonomics, features, and then of course how this machine compares to my SVL 97 with the disc on it. And I'm going to take the drum and put it on my SVL 97, and there might be a few finishing touches that I want to do with the drum anyways, so it won't hurt to have them both on site. However, the 335, we got to be somewhat careful because this is not a forestry door. So we have to be really careful. And I would rather use the disc to do most of my demoing on this machine because of that. Because the disc it throws way less debris back at the machine, at the operator, at the cab than the drum does. And of course, I can kind of change the way I operate it a little bit to negate some of that anyways. Even if I do run the disc or the drum on it, which I want to do because I have way more hours operating the drum than I do operating the disc. But because I've been running it for 3-4 hours already today, and then I want to immediately turn around and put it on this machine, I should be able to get a pretty good comparison or feel for the differences of this unit. And 118 horsepower, 45 gallons per minute, 4,400 PSI. It's 1,000 pounds heavier than the SVL 97. So a lot more features, a lot more adjustability in terms of saved settings and the ability to actually adjust hydraulic flow, whether I want 37 gallons a minute or 27 gallons a minute or 36 or 44 or 45. I can adjust that and I can save my attachment. Anyways, I'll go through all that with you guys later. I got to get back to the job, but that's what's going to go on in this video. This is how it's going to start for the review on the 335P. So I'm going to get this thing hooked up to the machine, I'm going to get the machine. My mind's jumping all over the place today. I got a lot to do. So I'm going to get the machine hooked up to the drum, get it loaded up, and get back to the job. The next thing you guys will see is going to be this machine in action. And then after I feel like I've got some time behind it, I will close this video out with my thoughts. I may, in between there, whether it's tomorrow or the day after, hook the drum up to it as well, run that, do a comparison. If I do, I'll record that as well, and then we'll finish out with what I think. If I think we're going to buy one, talk about price point, some options that are available on the 335P, and there's just not a lot of video on that machine on YouTube right now that I could find. Very few for forestry, one or two specifically. I'm going to try to provide that for you guys, and we'll see how it goes. So stick with me. All right, guys, we're back out on the job. Just got here, as you can probably see, all the mulching that we've been doing here in the background. So we have got the Vail disc mulcher, like I said, hooked up to my SVL 97. And then we have got my Vail drum mulcher hooked up to the demo John Deere 335P. Brought to you by Brooks Tractor since 1945. Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. I think they have multiple locations, but that's my location. So, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get that disconnected from this and that disconnected from this, swap the two, and we're going to run the disc on the Deere and see how she does. Figure out where I can mount this thing to so that you guys can see what's going on, and get back to work. All right, let's go. All right, guys, so here we are inside the Deere 335P. We have got the Vail forestry head disc mulcher on the front, like I said we would do. And took me a minute to figure it out. The hydraulics, the joystick controls and stuff were just a little different than my Kubota. So it just took me a second. Actually had to call my rep at Vail because I know he's driven them before, and he actually was able to tell me, kind of walk me through it. But anyway, we're up and running now. I just kind of wanted to get my feet wet with it a little bit before I started shooting any video. And first impressions here, well, you notice exactly what you would expect to notice. Massive difference in horsepower compared to the 97, and and hydraulic flow. And sorry, I'm just listening to like this little squeak. I'm not really, am I raising lower the boom? Or if it needs to be greased, which shouldn't have been my responsibility because it's a demo. I hope they would have did that before they gave it to me, but maybe they didn't. But anyway, yeah, you could tell an immediate difference in horsepower and hydraulic flow, pressure. I mean, as soon as I started barreling into some of this stuff that I was barreling into earlier in the day with my 97, it just doesn't even slow the disc down. And but you know, that's to be expected at 118 horse versus 97 and 45 gallons per minute versus 40 on the Kubota. So, but you know, this is the first machine that I've actually driven that's got horsepower upwards of 120. Like I said, it's 118, or at least driven with a mulcher on it. Like that, I mean, even that right there, that would have bogged my Kubota down a little bit. I mean, I've run my Kubota so much that, I mean, I can pretty much tell you, let's see if we can, trying to pull that buckthorn, there it goes, buckthorn in, yeah. I mean, not that my Kubota doesn't do that, but like, because it does. It's just the difference is it does it without really slowing the hydraulics down a whole hell of a lot, just by sheer comparison. Which, you know, anybody, most people would say, well, duh, you know, it specs out a lot better. But until you really feel it, you just, I don't know, it's hard to kind of put it into words until you just feel it. And this is why, primarily, I wanted to get this machine out here today, was because I've already had several hours on the same job site behind in the SVL 97, and I was like, man, this would be a really good chance to just really feel the difference and just feel the comparison between the two. And not to mention on dry ground. So I know I said I wanted to try all this stuff on my property, but my property tends to be wet more often than not this time of year, so I don't even know. I haven't even been down in my woods. So here we are, which we're not too far from the house. Like I said, about 4 miles from my house for this gentleman, this job. But, so other things, other than, of course, the noticeable increase in power, she's a little jerky. It's definitely a little bit more, I don't know, she just feels a little bit more jerky than my Kubota, and yeah, like going over some of these bumps and stuff. And my Kubota can be pretty jerky as well. Now, I did have a subscriber tell me that he's like, man, if you've ever been in a Deere before, and he was specifically, I think, talking about the 333G, but he did say that. He said that he's like, man, I just feel beat up after I get out of a Deere after running it for the day, and so I'm feeling that at the moment. But what I don't know is, it's like, I don't know, is it just in the design of the machine, or is it just a stiffer ride? Or is it just because I'm not completely used to the hydraulics? or the controls yet, or is it because there's just more horsepower behind the controls? Could be a culmination of all of that. So that's another thing that I'm sitting here noticing at the moment. It's just she's a jerky ride. Visibility, I like. One thing, this sits up a little bit higher than the Kubota. Boy, I don't know why we're squeaking like that when I raise the boom. I wonder if she does just need grease. Probably have to stop and take a look at that. But I like the visibility. I like being up a little bit higher. I noticed that right away as soon as I started mulching. It's like, oh man, this sits up a little higher than the Kubota. And but visibility in terms of like my back window, and like I can look out my right side, my left side here, and I can see the rear of my track, and I can see what's behind the track too. But the really nice thing about this too is that this has so check that out. We got two, we can adjust that, but there's a 360 view on the camera. So I will tell you that the Kubota doesn't have that. It's just that this is just more feature rich. That's really nice to have. I like that, especially for, I could see for when I'm doing like grading and stuff like that for like gravel driveways, because I can look up at that, especially if it's not a direct like straight line. Like my driveway, for instance, is kind of at an angle, and when I look at that 360 view, I can see exactly where I'm at as I'm back dragging, and that's really nice. It's really nice to be able to do that. Otherwise, yeah, with the Kubota, you know, you're looking back, your neck's cranked. Like, yeah, you've got the reverse camera, but you can't really see like where the edge of your tracks are. So I don't like that with the Kubota, but that 360 view is really nice because this has the cameras on the side of the boom. There's one on each side of the boom, which is awesome. Trying to be as efficient as I can here with this machine, while also trying to be careful because it's not mine. Yeah, but the increase in power is one of the main reasons why I wanted a new machine. And I was right to assume that it would be advantageous, which one could say, well, duh, but I just feel like until you really feel it, it's like, oh man. You know, you think this is another reason why, like when I was talking about my best skid steers for forestry mulching, where I'm just such a huge advocate of like not wanting to go below anything below like 100 horsepower. Because I think that you're really going to sacrifice efficiency. It's not that you won't get the work done, like you'll get the job done. It's just going to take you longer. You know, I mean, there's going to be more time spent waiting for your drum to recover, and you know, me being a new mulcher, I mean, I've been doing this for a year now, but like, I mean, I can feel an immediate difference. Like, I've been running my 97 for the last year. This, other than the case, the TV620B, this is the first machine that I've demoed since starting this company with a mulching head on it. Man, this is a bumpy ride. I'll say that again. It's a bumpy ride. But man, does it spit out some power. And I don't know how much of this you guys want to watch. Video is going to get to be pretty long if I film my entire job, which obviously I'm not going to do. But I just wanted to give you guys a glimpse of the machine running while I'm running it, and I can kind of talk about these things in real time, because you are witnessing the first time running this machine right here, other than just loading it and unloading it in my driveway. Comfort, I mean, the seat's really comfortable. It's an air ride seat. It's heated and cooled, which is fantastic. It's not crazy hot out today. Well, it's not hot out at all. It's in the 60s. But I do have the AC on because the sun's been shining, and it does get to be a little warm in these cabs, even if it's, 50, 60 degrees outside. So, but I imagine that on a really hot day, that air-conditioned seat would be really nice to have. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to compare to my Kubota, which does not have an air-conditioned seat or a heated seat for that matter. And I'm like, I was trying to think back to the winter. God, that's so nice right there. One thing I notice right away too is when I'm turning, I don't feel like I'm losing loads of power to the tracks when I wanna pivot. Now, granted, I'm on flat ground, which helps, but and so I'm gonna butcher the name of this, but the Deere has, it's a PCLS hydraulic system, pressure sensing load compensating hydraulic system. And basically it's a kind of a smart system for hydraulics where I believe it's supposed to sense where the hydraulic demand is coming from in real time, and then divert flow to those areas. For example, right now we're running 45 gallons a minute in the head. Well, we have extended constant flow to the hydraulic head right now at full idle. But when we go to lift the boom in the air or turn or pivot, 360 or whatever, 180, immediately hydraulic flow demand is going to be, hydraulic flow is going to be demanded to those areas, to those pumps. And man, that's just so much more aggressive than Kubota. But, and so that smart system is supposed to divert the flow to those areas in real time, which is supposed to prevent the lag of, constant flow to the head, and you try to turn, and then you've got a slow, laggy turn, because there's just not enough. The pumps aren't strong enough. There's just not enough demand. Or there's too much demand and not enough response from the hydraulics to be able to keep up with the demand. And so that is what that PCLS system is supposed to help combat. And God, boy, I'm gonna say it again. It's a rough ride, boys. I don't know how I feel about that, but I got to tell you that it seems to work, because while it feels, I mean, you do notice it, right? It's not like, oh man, the tracks respond the same exact way that they would if the head wasn't running, but there's an immediate difference from the SVL 97. Now, there are, I believe that Bobcat also has something similar to that. You know, everybody is trying to, you know, especially in their 100-horse machines or Tier 4 machines, I mean, everybody's trying to compete, because those are the forestry machines. You know, those are the machines that run high flow attachments, and of course, that would be a complaint of anybody who's trying to do this for money, because man, the more responsive and the hydraulics are, and the more they're able to keep up with the demand, the more efficient you can be as an operator. Now, that machine's still only going to be as efficient as you are as an operator, which is why, even given the extra horsepower, I still may not get through this job quite as fast today. I'm learning the response of like throttle response and hydraulics, and I'm not quite, you know, obviously not as used to it as I would be with my Kubota, but you know, that will come in time. I mean, I like it. I mean, right now, like, it's different, and that, I think, in some ways I'm liking the difference, and then in other ways I'm like, I don't know yet, you know. But it's early; it's too early to tell. But I think the main thing I'm not liking right now is it is a rough ride. It's a bumpy ride, and I don't like that. And it's jerky, and I don't. That's actually bugging me at the moment. Now, ASV combats that with their PosiTrack system, and I have actually never been in an ASV, so I can tell you that I will be demoing one of those sometime soon, because I've talked to the rep over there before, and they do have a demo unit, a VT100 forestry. So I don't know, you know. I mean, at this price point of the Deere 335 at about 120,000, that puts me, you know, if I was gonna spend that much, I can pretty much have any 100 horsepower class track loader that I want, except for maybe the ASV RT 135, you know, at I think they're like upwards of maybe like 140,000. And so, I mean, that keeps us, I'm not going to spend that much, but I just basically, you know, I might as well demo them all. Might as well see what I like. This machine, I definitely like it, but man, I'm not digging the rough ride. I would be very curious to see how an ASV rides by comparison, just because of that PosiTrack system, the way they have their idler wheels designed. Not idler wheels, it's not a pulley system, but hard to explain, I guess. But it's a little strange, kind of a little bit, maybe a little laggy on that PCLS, like, I don't know, almost like it was trying to engage, but then it finally caught up. 2690. Just looking at RPMs. This does have the reversing fan on it too, which is nice. But anyway, back to ASV. Yeah, I'll set up a demo for sure with them. And the one thing I don't know if I'll like is, they don't have the RT 120s anymore, and I don't know why they don't. So I gotta be careful. The forestry door. So even their VT 100 it's only like 103, maybe 102 horsepower machine, and as opposed to this unit right here, we're sitting at 118, and so I don't know. And yeah, they got the VT 130 or the RT 135, but excuse me, I cannot afford to spend $140,000 on a machine, so that's out for me. Now the next thing too, is we can do the Bobcat T86, and that's like 115 horsepower. And but they don't have a demo unit for that yet, and I am past the point of being content with just running the machine in the parking lot to see how it drives. Like, I need to be able to see how it feels with a mulcher on it, how it handles in the woods. Like, otherwise, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna buy it, So I'll still go look at it, but I'm not going to certainly, I'm not going to walk out the door with one until I can try it with my application. So anyways, one thing I'm sitting here noticing too is that when I talked about the tracks being responsive, it seems to kind of depend. I suppose it could depend on the status of the drum. If the drum is bogged down a little bit, and then you also try to, pivot or turn aggressively while the flow of the drum is trying to recoup, that almost seems like it makes it. You notice that the machine's ability to turn while the drum is recouping is more laggy. But if it's at full flow, full RPM, full flow, and then you try to turn, it seems like it actually is really responsive, almost like I explained it just a few minutes ago. So, but man, guys, I could see right there. So the drum's trying to recoup, and then I just tried to turn, and it was really laggy. But you guys are getting some footage. When I'm done, I'll kind of give you the walk around in the cab. And tell you what I think about all that stuff, which the cab is really nice. It's a completely sealed, truly pressurized, like factory sealed cab. My SFL 97 is not, and it's really annoying because dust and debris and everything, no matter what, finds its way in. And this is, like I said, completely factory sealed. And that's a must for me. Like, I will not buy a machine after I sell my 97 that doesn't have that. So, but things you'd never know until you buy a machine and give her a whirl. Let's see if I can pull this in here. There it goes. Yeah, that's so crazy. That was like 4-inch probably. 3.5 to 4-inch. That was buckthorn. Power. It's got power, no doubt. Not complaining about its performance, which at the end of the day is the most important thing. But when you're running a machine like this, we gotta watch that Widowmaker up there. last thing I need is a tree to come down on a machine that's not mine, which is insured by my insurance company. Damn, what was I saying? But at the end of the day, it's your office. You know, you spend 8 to 9 or more hours a day when you're mulching in your machine, and so it's like, yeah, it's great that it's got power and performance. That's part of, you know, being comfortable, because if you are lacking power and performance, then it's a long day. You know, it's kind of an annoying. Mulching can be really annoying if you've got, you know, lack of power, and this doesn't have that. But all the little things are important too. You know, like you want to be comfortable, the ride comfort, and you know, things like HVAC, which, you know, most machines have now, and this machine's got Bluetooth, it's got a radio and stuff. My other one does too, but most of the time I run my AirPods anyway. So when I'm mulching, but yeah, you know, it's not all about, like, yeah, I love the power and performance of this thing so far, but I'm not totally sold on the ride comfort, that's for sure. One thing I don't like here is I don't rest my arms. Like, I don't rest my arms completely on these things. So these little rails right here, my elbows keep, I don't know if you can see that, my elbows keep bouncing up and down on this little rail, because to be comfortable, I want to be wider than this right here. So that's annoying. I'll just point that out right away. But this video is going to be longer, guys. I mean, I'm already 30 minutes in, but it's a review video, and I want to do an honest review video. And in order to do that, I can't. It's tough for me to wrap it up in 30 minutes if I'm also showing you, like, real footage of the machine mulching, you know. So and I wanted to do it from in the cab because I wanted to be able to talk to you guys about all of the things, like I said, that I'm noticing while I'm noticing it. I believe that that's the best way. God, I love the power. I love the power. I'm really, really anxious to put my drum on this, but I just don't have time to tune it today. And I say that because I've got a lot more hours behind my drum than I do on the disc. So it'll be very easy for me to compare. Like, I'll notice right away. Like, I'll notice it right away. And I'm excited for that. I'm more excited now after putting my drum or my disc on here and just having a moment to feel it. And I was excited, you know, before, but I'm more excited now. To feel the power different. But, you know, here's the bad thing, is that it's going to make me want one more than I already wanted one. And to be just completely honest, I'm not quite yet in a position where I'm ready to sell my Kubota. I haven't had it that long. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, it's been about a year, you know, like I said. And so I feel like I want to pay down a little bit more of it before I sell it and jump into another machine. And, you know, I think it's going to be several months before I'm at a point where I feel comfortable enough to do that. So we'll see. But, you know, demoing these machines and feeling like what the difference in power and flow and comfort and, you know, features and stuff, all the things I've talked about not liking about the SPL 97. you know, to have to go back into it after feeling, you know, what it can be like is going to kind of suck a little bit, but like, yeah, like, gosh, I mean, let's see if I can. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, see, we did. I think we just bought. I think we just. Yeah, we did. We did jam it up, but we can fix that. A little bit more. A little bit more twisty twist. Just give me a second, and she will go. There we go. There she goes. Oh, you guys, there. That's a good shot. You can see what it looks like underneath. But I'll tell you, I've jammed up this disc on smaller stuff than that on the SVL 97 just earlier today. That's basically what I wanted to do. I kind of was like, let me see if I can find this thing's limits. But yeah, pretty impressive, I will say, for power and flow. Well, all right. So the last thing that you guys saw was I don't even remember, me mulching in the 335P. Everything was going fine, and basically, to no fault of the mulcher or to the Deere 335, the hose on the mulcher over here, it just, I don't even know, it just sits differently than it does on my Kubota or something. I don't know, but basically what happened is the hose got caught under the track, and it snapped off the hydraulic fittings on the machine, which are now stuck on the end of my hose for the mulcher. Both male, female, and K-strain all snapped off. Hydraulic oil went spraying everywhere, and that was basically the end to our 335P demo. I got 2 hours in though. I could only run it for 4 anyways, and so I think I got a pretty good impression of the machine. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to fix that, and as you guys can see, there's hydraulic oil all over the disc. Fortunately, I had my other machine here, so I was able to just jump into the Kubota with the drum and keep moving. You guys can kind of see in the background, that's the end of day 1. We got to come back for day 2 tomorrow. This was slated for 2 days. I was hoping to maybe get it done in 1.5. We'll see. We have to spray herbicide as well, but this slowed me down a little bit, and as you guys can see, it's the machine end are still stuck in my fittings, so I think I'm just gonna thread these off and probably just put new ones on, which I don't even have at the moment. So that's where we're at, end of day 1, and we have to get everything washed up, power washed. I may try to fix this myself. I don't know. My insurance will probably cover any work that they do, but depending on, I don't know, I may try to get new fittings myself and fix it before I return it. I made them aware right away of what happened, so everything's documented. But that's where we're at. End of day 1. It is 5:23, and I am going home for the evening. We'll be back for day 2. Granted, the video you're watching right now is the review for the Deere 335. I just wanted to include this in there. To no fault, that's operator error for probably not paying more attention to where that hose was sitting. So just wanted to give you guys a short clip of how the day ended, and we'll finish out the 335 video with last impressions and what I think after we get everything cleaned up and figure out this mess. But all in all, could have been worse. We got a lot done, and we'll be back up and running tomorrow. All right, guys, so here we are in the cab of the 335P. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm actually in somewhat of a hurry to get this thing back to the dealer. They need it back tomorrow. And they've got to fix the hydraulic couplers that I broke. So anyway, I just got it done chaining it up here, and I got to drive it back. But told you guys I would give you kind of a full cab walk around here. So basically, you know, typical pilot controls here. I'm going to turn it on here. So this is the what you're working with for the screen. Well, this is your control panel basically. So this is waterproof, dustproof, and this is all the critical features that that you would need to use on the machine. Quick attach right here, headlights, washer fluid, heated seat. It does have a cooled seat as well, air conditioning, of course your park brake. This turns it on, this shuts it off. You've got your high flow. You can turn your high flow on here as well. I don't fully know everything that this does, but they give you a handy little cheat sheet right here above your head that tells you everything that it does. The only thing that I don't like is these are numbered on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And up here on this cheat sheet, they are not numbered. So you can't just correlate number to number. You've got to correlate position to position. So you look over here and you're like, well, what is this? This is 2 over and 2 down. Okay, what's 2 over and 2 down? And it just takes a second to kind of grasp that, which is a little bit annoying. But if we turn on here, screen lights up. This would be where your glow plugs would turn on, you know, if necessary, but it's warm out, so the machine's already warm. Turn the radio down over here, and then press again to start the machine. She fires up, and then you've got your display right here. So this does more than I even had a chance to play with, and but a couple of cool features here is you've got your attachment manager. You can go into attachments. You can set your hydraulic flow. You can save attachments in here if you want to. So like right now, this is very different than my Kubota. My extend flow rate is set to 45 gallons per minute. I can adjust that to whatever, you know, whatever I want it to be, all the way up to 45 gallons per minute, which is what we had it set to for mulching. And so we hit OK there. There's a retract flow rate. You can do joystick layout, high flow toggle on, toggle off, high pressure on, off. I'm actually not even sure now. That was toggled off. I'm not even sure if I was running high pressure when I was mulching. But basically we X out of there. We can go in here, general attachments, and we can set flow rate again, and you can save your attachments. I don't even exactly know how to do it yet, but you can name it, you know, mulcher 1, mulcher 2, 44 gallons per minute, you know, 4,400 PSI or whatever. You can save that, and you can recall that attachment. Over here on the side, you've got your Bluetooth, AM, FM radio. You've got your phone. It's kind of like Uconnect if you have a Ram, or Sync if you have a Ford or whatever, but that does sync up in here. Over here, you've got your backup camera. You've got different orientations for your backup camera. You can set that. There's your 360 view here, because this has 270 degree surround view, like side cameras, one on each boom. That's that little bump out right there. There's another one over here, and so you get your 360 view, which is fantastic. Something that I think will really come in handy for like grading driveways and stuff when you're going backwards, and you can actually see where the line is, where you're at in comparison to your track and the line that you're taking when you backdrag in reverse, and you can see it from above, and you don't have to always be cranking your neck looking from behind you. Room, it's spacious. I have no issues with room here. Visibility is great. When the boom is in the air, I can see all the way back behind my track. In fact, the boom is down and I can still see all the way back behind my track. You got your typical AC controls here for HVAC. You do get a backup mirror in here as well, which my Kubota doesn't have. You can control radio and stuff on the screen, but you do get analog over here. And cup holders, they actually give you a real cup holder with these rubber bump outs here to actually hold your drink in place, whereas my Kubota is just plastic and my shit bounces around all the time. There's a couple of storage spots right here, trays. You got a cup holder on each side with a storage tray on each side. That's fantastic. Plenty of foot room. As you can see, my feet actually go all the way out into these wheel wells. I can't even reach completely. Like, my legs are fully extended right now. I'm 5'10" tall, so I'm not real tall, but it's still just really nice to have. So, you know, other features, guys, throttle control right here, obviously, and it's getting warm in here. I'm going to turn AC on a little bit, but it's overall, it's just comfortable. It is a fully, truly factory sealed, pressurized cab, and it really is. You know, when I was mulching, not a speck of dust gets in here. I hop back into my Kubota on that same mulching job that is part of this video, and by the end of that job, guys, I was just absolutely covered in shit. In fact, last night sleeping, like, my eyes are watering up, my back of my throat is scratchy from sucking in that dust all day. I mean, I would literally sell the SVL 97 just to not have to deal with that anymore on mulching jobs alone. So, you guys, if you watch any of my other videos, you know how much I don't like that shit. So, but guys, I got to get this thing back. I hate to cut this short. Obviously, the demo got cut a little bit short because of the issue with the hydraulics, and but I do feel like I got enough time in it to really get a feel for a lot of its features in comparison to my machine, and especially the power output and the hydraulic flow, the horsepower increase in comparison to my machine. So far, I really like it, and it is not off the list for what machine we will purchase next after selling the SVL 97. I just called my ASV dealer today. I'm setting up a demo with the VT100 potentially as soon as next week, and they're going to let me run that for more time than I got to run this. They put a 4-hour limit on this machine. The ASV, the demo is a 3-day or 20-hour, and so a lot more time I'll get to run that for if I don't break it. I guess that's why they request a certificate of insurance before they let you take it off the lot for free. But anyways, guys, that's probably going to be the end of this video. I may do some light talking points after this, just me, like talking head video or whatever, as a part of this video to explain, just recap everything that I liked, that I noticed, that I didn't like about the John Deere 335P for forestry mulching. So I'll figure out what I'm going to do for that after I get this thing taken back, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys a full view of what's going on in the cab of the John Deere 335P. I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm driving this morning and it's raining pretty good. We got a rain day today, so I'm going to get some other things done, and I thought it'd be a good chance to just shoot this last little clip for finishing up the Deere 335P video. It's about a week and a half later now, but I wanted to close out the video just by doing some quick closing thoughts on the things I liked, the things I didn't like, and just kind of doing a quick recap of the demo. And I know this video is getting really long in the tooth at this point. We're going to be closing in on 1 hour, but like I said, this was going to be longer, and it's going to be for those of you who really are interested in learning about that particular machine in terms of forestry mulching specifically. And so it just ends up being as long as it ends up being, but I'll try to keep this quick. So basically, in a nutshell, I really like the machine, and the things that I really like about it are the power output at 118 horsepower. I really like the hydraulic flow with their super flow mode at 45 gallons per minute, and the ability to adjust that wherever I want it to be. And you know, I can set it to 22, 27, 35, 45, 41. Like, I can set the flow with their HMI, the screen that they have in the machine, and the ability to set and save specific attachments and then recall those attachments. and you can save those settings for that specific attachment. That's fantastic. I love that. And that's going to come in handy when I'm running different mulchers, or as we acquire, more attachments or more equipment. And then I love the fully sealed pressurized cab. I love the fact that the door closes and seals from the outside, other than the convenience of having a roll-up door like in the Kubota for, needing to get out of the machine when the boom is halfway up, or actually being able to run the machine with the door open if you want to, if you're doing bucket work or, stuff like that in the summer and you want to have the door open. But otherwise, that fully sealed pressurized cab where the door seals from the outside is fantastic. And the hydraulic reversing fan, I really love that. I also just love the overall design of the machine in terms of there's not a lot of areas where debris, dirt, wood chips, sticks can accumulate and make its way down into the engine compartment like it does on my SVL 97. I hate that about that machine. And the Deere just has a better overall design to kind of mitigate that. And then they also have a forestry kit available that provides protection for the lights, the windshield wiper, the rear bumper, the screens, and there's even some rubber seals that cover up any areas that there might be where debris might be able to accumulate, which it's very minimal on that machine, but they do make protective covers within the forestry package to help mitigate that even more. And it's not a crazy amount more money to add that kit. So if I do buy one, which right now, pending a couple other demos, the Deere 335 is at the top of my list. Even with the things that I didn't like about it, which you just watched it, would be how jerky the ride was. But I think after further review, I think that could be in relation to my Kubota has hydraulic pilot controls, and the Deere has EH controls, which is electro-hydraulic. And so it's just different. And also because it is an EH control, you have the ability to adjust the sensitivity of the joysticks for your specific preference. And I didn't get a chance to do that. In fact, there was so much that the machine's capable of doing, I just didn't have it for long enough. But now I'm kind of learning those things after the fact, and I think that is something that maybe could have been mitigated. I know I was really harping on that, saying, man, it's a bumpy ride, I don't like that, I don't know how I feel about that, just because it was kind of jerking me around. But I feel like that's a combination of that being, the machine having EH controls, and maybe I just needed to adjust them to kind of get them to respond more like what I was used to in the Kubota. But at the end of the day, it is an electro-hydraulic control. It's not like a hydraulic pilot control like my Kubota. So it's just going to be different at the end of the day, and anything that's different, there's just going to be a learning curve and an adaptation involved. And I think once we get that, the jerkiness of the ride, I think I could probably mitigate that a little bit. But listen, overall, guys, the positives that I noticed while I had the machine far outweighed any negatives. And I know that, running it for a half a day is not, the same as owning the machine and really giving it a full run, but you just can't do that. You can demo it you're lucky to even be able to take one home and demo it, and you can't. The only way I'm going to find out, for the most part, further beyond what I've already learned is going to be just, unfortunately, to buy the machine and hopefully not run into anything that I really don't like. And that's what happened with the Kubota. It was just like the things that I have learned about that machine, you would have never known until you bought it and ran it for several hundred hours to learn that. And I think all machines are going to have their quirks. I think no matter what, you're going to find something that you don't like about it, but you're not going to find that perfect machine. But I think there is a best fit machine for everyone out there on the market, and what that is for you guys, I'm not sure. But for me, in some instances, I really love the Kubota, but You know, when I strap my mulcher on there, in terms of efficiency, power output, and just overall cleanliness, you know, trying to keep the machine clean when running a forestry mulching business, I don't like the SVL for that. And for that reason, the Deere 335 is going to be at the top of my list. It just has more features overall too. As I went through the HMI, the screen with you guys, I mean, there's just more adjustability, and rightfully so. There damn well better be for what it costs, because I can buy an SVL 97-2 for $80,000, and I did. You know, the 97-3s coming out, I think, are going to be maybe closer to $90,000. So still not that much by comparison. And that machine that I demoed, I received an actual real-world quote for that unit, the 335P, with all the features that it had, the one that I demoed had, and it was $120,000, guys. So, and the forestry kit's going to be like another $8 or $9 grand on top of that, which I guess what's another $8 or $9 grand on 120 grand. Now, I don't know if I'm going to run all of the forestry package additions. He kind of separated it out on line items for me, so I could maybe pick and choose like what I want and what I don't want. There may be a few things that we don't need, but at the end of the day, it's a lot more money, but you're also getting a lot more machine too. So like I said, rightfully so for that price upgrade. It better come with the ability to do more. I also understand that it's a Deere. You know, you're probably paying for there's probably a name factorization in that price. You know, you're probably paying for the name, and you're gonna get that with, you know, those higher end USA made, USA branded companies. They just come at a higher price point. So I'm going to try to cut this a little bit short, because I know that we're creeping in on an hour, and man, I can just ramble, as you guys know. Yeah, this will be one of my longest videos yet, but after doing the Case TV 620B video, I just felt that we could have did a better job with that, and I really wanted to make sure that I did that with the 335. And just kind of a spoiler, I'm going to be I guess not a spoiler, but just kind of letting you guys know what's going on in the future. I should be picking up the ASV VT100 probably tomorrow, and I'm going to try to demo that as much as I can, and I'll film some footage of that too. And we're getting a lot of rain right now, though. It's supposed to be 2 to 3 inches over the next 48 hours, so the ability to demo that machine on my property, we dried out a little bit, and now we're going to be wet again. So I'm going to try to pick it up tomorrow, but we'll keep an eye on the weather. It's raining pretty good all day today and tomorrow, so we'll see. But for now, guys, that's it. If you have any questions, or if I forgot anything, if there's anything you want to know about the 335 that I didn't mention, please drop it in the comments below. Always like and subscribe. My channel's continuing to grow. Guys are reaching out to me asking questions about, you know, getting into the space, and that's the whole reason I started this channel to begin with, was just to provide information for you guys that is seemingly difficult to find on YouTube, and make it easier for you to kind of make decisions on buying your equipment, or starting your mulching company, or whatever you might be doing. So feel free to reach out, drop it in the comments. I always respond. May not be immediately, but I will get back to you guys. So I appreciate it, guys, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.